Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Oh, yeah, that's me. How you doing? Welcome to the show. It's just to place us in time. February 8th, 2022. And it's a Tuesday, and that means my sister Susan should be there.
Hi, I'm here.
Well, and you're in Green Bay, right?
And I'm in Green Bay, yeah. Dog is happy again.
Yeah. He prefers it to
well, there's less snow here. It's easier. It's funny.
Wow.
Yeah, less snow here. So he's got easier passage.
Okay. Let's see, Suze. I'm not sure where we're going today.
Well, I've been reading the newspaper in preparation, and I'm getting more than a little angry at teachers torturing Jewish students.
Torturing Jewish
students. This kid is in Tennessee, in quote, a Bible class in Tennessee. And the teacher writes the letters YAWH or EH or however you want, whatever vowels you want to. Yahweh, which is supposedly the name that Jews are supposedly not to pronounce, which is the name of God.
The name of God.
But it's really not the name of God, and that's what Christians don't get. It's just two. It's the Yud and the Vav, Yud Vav, and which is basically unpronounceable. And it's, I can say Yahweh and not be afraid that I'm going to be struck dead, for example. But in this class, the teacher writes it on the board and says to the class, if you want to torture a Jew, if you want to torture a Jew, make them say this.
First of all, stop right there. What?
Why would someone want to torture a Jew?
Wait, no. What is this? Is a public school?
This is apparently it's hard for me to tell because they've got a Bible class. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm asking. Because
it doesn't matter because Tennessee mixes religion and religion into all of its public structures. Last month they were sued because their state-funded adoption agency, which is run by a Christian church, wouldn't allow a Jewish couple to adopt because they're Jews.
I saw that one I saw.
This is the same state, so they are mixing their public and their private all over the place.
They think Americans are Christian,
right? So now the teacher is saying, if you want to torture a Jew, just make them say this. So the kid goes home. This 13-year-old girl goes home and says, I don't really feel very safe at school anymore. And the mother has a heart attack, gets very angry, calls the school, and arranges a meeting with the principal and the teacher declines to meet.
How is that possible if the principal?
Okay, this is what I'm just reading this article, and my
Where are you reading this?
Washington Post.
Really? I didn't see it.
And my mouth is dropping, and I'm just going, excuse me, then that teacher is immediately fired. I mean, the teacher should be fired anyway, but if the teacher declines to meet with a parent whose child she's offended, the teacher gets fired.
She more than offended the child. She threatened.
She threatened the child.
She frightened the child. All right. Well,
and she suggested other people threaten the child.
Well,
if you want to torture a Jew.
If you want to torture a Jew. Let me tell you, this stuff is popping up not just on a daily basis. There's stories. There's a story out of the University of Pittsburgh today, a lecturer there where a Jewish student complained, and the university had to say, "Oh my God, that does not represent And this was a lecturer who I don't think but did a Holocaust. He was talking about masks and how hard it was for him to speak in them, lecture in the mask. So he was doing a rant on that. And then he said something about, it's like getting gassed in the Holocaust. I can't breathe. It's like getting gassed in the Holocaust or something.
His own bad breath ain't as bad as gas in the Holocaust. Sorry.
All right. Well, listen, this kind of stuff is just rampant now. It's rampant. I don't know.
Well, I, for one, am not going to sit by and go, oh, well, it's rampant. I'm going to go, oh, no, because...
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I don't know. I feel like figuring out who the Tennessee teacher is and going and standing in front of the Tennessee teacher's house and giving them a little sample of what torture feels like. This stuff should not be allowed. Jews should not sit back. I mean, we're 30 seconds from, something.
Well, yeah. Well,
you can't tell me it can't happen. It happened a few years ago.
No. I'm not saying it can't happen. And I am saying that, and I have been saying that quite clearly our country is flirting, more than flirting, with a kind of fascism that and intolerance of anybody but white Christians that bodes ill for marginalized communities, which are actually, if you put all of us marginalized folks together,
we're more than them. That's what I'm just saying. All of us marginalized folk are far greater numbers than everybody than the white folks. So the white folks, of which I used to think I was one, but now by DNA I am grateful to think that I'm not.
No, we were talking. Listen, Suze, I was talking about this yesterday. White is
a skin color,
malleable. It's bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit.
Right?
It's a
because who's white
category. Whites, I was saying yesterday, Italians didn't used to be considered white. The Irish weren't white. White is the top of the pyramid, and the people on the top define who is white. And to the eye, Jews appear mostly white, but that belies a reality thousands upon thousands of years old, that the Jew can never be in that top group. The Jew is always an outsider. And I don't know. I'm getting a little crazy myself about dealing with the possibilities that we're looking at down the road. I was reading in the New York Times today this thing that the two opinion people, Gail Collins and Brett Stevens, sort of left and right, have these conversations. And she asks him, what can conservatives like you do to bring the Republican Party back? And I just want to read what Brett Stevens, a conservative, answered. Trying to rescue the Republican Party from the moral pit into which it has thrown itself is like trying to revive a corpse by blowing tobacco smoke up its ass.
Good.
Yeah. So that's where we are. And then E.J. Dionne, not E.J. Dionne.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's his name, if that's what you're talking about.
Well, that's his name. He said exactly what I said yesterday. And I'm sure some people will say, oh, Cullen has just been over the top on this stuff. But I said yesterday, there is no longer a Republican Party. That which was the GOP is gone, and it has been replaced without a doubt by a white nationalist
fascistic party. Yes.
Party. That's all there is. And E.J. Dionne after a long piece, ends it thusly. The Republican National Committee, the official leadership of the GOP, has embraced unspeakable violence as legitimate discourse. To call a person who endorses violence against the duly elected government a Republican is itself Orwellian. More accurate words exist for such a person. One of them is fascist.
Right. Traitor.
So, yeah. This is fascism. And I'm troubled by our, in the opinion section of some of our news, we are getting people calling it what it is here, fascism. But in the rest of the news, the mainstream news, they're playing like nothing has changed. It's Republicans and Democrats, and they're at each other's throats,
and
the Democrats are down and the Republicans are up, and they're acting as though we are not sitting on,
because they're all fascist
on a precipice.
Because you got, when Zucker falls off the podium, so then all these pictures of him, with arm in arm with Trump show up. Well,
no, there's no doubt he made Trump.
He made Trump.
Made Trump.
I mean, we were given this by a bunch of fascistic, power-hungry, money-hungry men that didn't care two whits about the consequences of their actions. They were just in it for the moment.
Anyone who knows, Nazi Germany, you had corporate Germany and Nazi political Germany.
Hand in hand.
Hand in hand. That's how that works. And we're heading there. Or are there, or I don't know. Susan?
Yes.
Let's leave this alone for a while because my heart's pounding, and
I know you're sweating, and it's only mid-morning.
My heart's pounding. And I want to get to just a few other. Oh, wait a minute. Roger has said if you want to torture a redneck. Okay. Thank you, Roger. If you want to torture a redneck, just talk about science, history, and reality.
And vaccines.
Right. Yeah, well, it's all the same. Yeah, right. Okay. Just a few things to lighten up for a sec, okay?
Okay.
Sturgeon. I want to talk about a fish. Where do you get sturgeon? I came across this in the Week magazine.
Well, there's Sturgeon Bay. Maybe you get them at Sturgeon Bay.
Well, Sturgeon Bay is in Wisconsin. And the article I came across is about Wisconsin. But surely Wisconsin isn't the only place you get sturgeon. I mean,
no, but it might be a big habitat, the big freshwater lake.
Eggs? Wait a minute. Aren't sturgeon eggs caviar?
Well, some caviar is made from sturgeon, yes. Some is made from, there's salmon roe, there's sturgeon, there's all sorts of different things.
Okay. So sturgeon, I did not know this about sturgeon. It says right here, it is essentially, it has like armor on it. It is an armor-plated fish. Its scales must be like incredible. Armor-plated, can grow to 7 feet or longer. It's like you saw that, you'd think it was a shark.
Yeah.
Okay. It can weigh up to 200 pounds, and it can live for 150 years.
Yep. Haven't you ever seen the farmers pulling out the fishermen pulling out these huge fish and standing next to them in these contests, in these fishing contests in the Great Lakes?
Yes. But here's what I read that blew me away. Here's what it says. This is in Condé Nast Traveler. The sturgeon is no everyday fish. It's as old as the dinosaurs as a species. And in Wisconsin's Lake Winnebago, Susan,
yes,
there it is. I mean, aside from a smaller lake than Lake Winnebago in Michigan, it is the only place where you are allowed to try to spear a sturgeon.
Yeah, I've heard about
the way
the fish spearing contests. Yeah.
Okay, well, this is what's the only place in the world where you can still do that. But the only way you can do it, and this Lake Winnebago is not far from Green Bay. Susan and I certainly know it. And back in the day, we used to drive by it if we were going to Chicago.
Right.
But they gave us a better highway, so we don't go by it anymore. It's a very large lake, and you would see always fishermen on it. But this sturgeon is fished in the winter. So the way the spear hunting of the sturgeon works is there's a season that lasts all of 16 days. Do you believe this?
Yeah, well.
A 16-day spears hunting, sturgeon hunting period. It's this month. Participants have to cut a hole through what's usually about 2 feet of ice on the lake, and then they just sit. They sit
and wait for a sturgeon to swim by their hole.
Yeah, you see those huts.
But how do they get the 7-foot sturgeon through the little hole?
Through the little hole. I would like, and what are the odds on that huge
No,
lake,
really. I'm just saying, this is a sight gag. You've got a hole, you've got your spear, you got a sturgeon stuck on the other side. How do you get it out?
Around? Obviously, you're going to spear it horizontally.
Right.
And then you'd have to turn it vertically to get it out. But these people sit and wait in their little huts.
Excuse me, that's what fishing is.
I know it is. I've never understood it. But sometimes they say that at Lake Winnebago, this is something that whole families do. That this is why some can sleep while others keep their eye on the hole with a spear in their hand. And it is, what are the odds in that one little hole in that huge lake that a sturgeon in those particular 17 days is going to go through right there where your hole is? So the article does not say how many times somebody has actually speared one. Anyway, they say very rarely, and by noon, most people hit the local bars.
It sounds like Wisconsin. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that sounds like it's just an excuse to have a beer.
Have a beer. But when I think of, Lake Winnebago, I mean, I see it in my mind's eye. It's a beautiful, huge lake. And to think there's 7-foot long, 150-year-old armored dinosaurs in there. I didn't know that. Dear Lord.
Well, I sort of did. I mean, just the sight of the dead carp on the beach at Shore Acres was enough to convince me that there were very large fish in there.
Yeah, but these guys aren't rotting. They're alive and well. But that's true. Sturgeon Bay. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So
they obviously like calm waters of inland bays and inland lakes,
I guess. So I'm wondering if I would think of sturgeon in something bigger like the Great Lakes, but I don't know. So I got to look up sturgeon. All right, I'm going to stay light again for a little while, Susan, because you started so hot.
I'm sorry. I read it and I just thought, honest
I know.
Pete.
Well, this would be, if you want to torture a Jew, being said by a school teacher
is something that is going to set the likes of me crazy.
It should set anybody. I mean, replace any And it was just, I mean, it was totally ignorant too. I mean, the teacher thinking that's
going to bother anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable. Although I did see the other day somewhere on Twitter that people were saying, why do Jews sometimes when we're writing in English, if you're writing about God, you say G-D. You don't write the name. You don't put the O in.
Well, it's sort of like when we were kids. We couldn't say P. We had to say D, which stood for P, which stood for piss. Well, this is the same thing. You can't. It's God. There's no reason not to write the word God, but because it's God is a stand-in for Yud Vav, then there it's P, which stands for D, which is verboten.
I don't think it's Yud Vav.
Yeah, it is. No, it's Yud Vav Hey Vav.
Well, Yud Vav, there's a hey in there for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, we think of our Hebrew. And
yeah, we're doing our Hebrew alphabet.
But I don't think you're supposed to say the name of the Lord, which is why we come up with these other ways to do it. That's been my understanding.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
We're to cower in front of him, lest he, turn us into, a pillar of salt, for crying out loud. The Old Testament God is not a good guy.
No, he's, excuse me, fucking frightening. Yeah,
we don't want to say his name. We don't want to look him in the eye. We don't want to call his attention. No way, no how.
I'm tiptoeing by here. Excuse me, pay no attention to me. I'm just tiptoeing by. He's got some real anger issues. He is really scary.
But he's ours.
But he's ours. And you wonder why Christianity took off with all this, sweet, loving.
They gave the nasty father such a sweet little son, and then they made them all one and a ghost to boot. Well.
God. Oops, I said it. All right, Suze, listen. The Oscar nomination.
We so far offended everybody. I apologize to everybody, every religion that we've just offended. I'm really sorry.
Really
I am
not.
Not well.
I just the Oscars came out. You don't care.
I don't. I didn't even look. I read it and I thought I probably haven't seen any of these, and I don't know.
That's the problem.
I saw Macbeth. I saw the tragedy of Macbeth. Is the only thing I've seen.
Okay, so I just want to say that I have seen some, and I am just blown away by how bad I thought some of these things were. And I'll only tell you that have you so you didn't see Being the Ricardos?
Oh, I did.
Okay, that's
the one with Nicole Kidman and Javier.
Nicole Kidman playing Lucy.
Yeah, and Bardem playing Desi.
But Bardem playing Desi.
Right.
I thought that was so awful that I couldn't finish it. I bailed out. I thought it was the worst. First of all, I couldn't look at either of them. I know Desi and Lucy too well. I thought he was horrible. She was horrible. I thought it was just awful. And now they've both been nominated for Academy Awards. I give up. Then there was that awful movie that also has been... I have literally not been able to finish these movies. The other one is Spencer.
I didn't even try. I don't want to watch Spencer. And I don't care that she did such a good job of playing... Spencer
is about Lady Di. I mean, Princess Diana.
One night in the weekend, the fateful weekend when she realized her marriage was over.
Yeah. Well, I watched part of it. And I just found it awful. I mean, awful. I couldn't.
Well, but you and I have similar reactions to watching historical events that we lived through and remember clearly, and don't really need somebody pretending to do the event not as well.
Well, I suppose that's true.
I mean, there's so many movies like that. I'm just not interested.
Well, I've seen a lot of, the best actresses, I've seen 4 of the movies. I've seen 4 of the 5. I wouldn't give anything to any of them. I'm just stunned by it.
Well, is Frances McDormand in there, or is she?
No, she is not. She did not get nominated.
Well, but did she get nominated as the supporting actress?
No, I don't believe she did.
Well, because her performance is stunning.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she did. I don't have all of that. But Jessica Chastain got nominated for playing Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And again, no. Sickening.
Why do we want to watch movies about? I don't understand why these are the women that they're deciding that we need to find interesting again.
Tammy Faye Baker. It turns out Lucy, when you get to know her,
is the most interesting woman of them all, because she's
interesting, but she's not a nice person. I mean, she's just a bitch. Yeah, just a bitch. So whatever. Anyway, we got a caller, Susan. I believe you know him. Hello.
Whoa, I got through?
Yeah, you got through.
Long time no speak.
Well, I've been trying.
Well, the phones don't work. We ain't living in Germany. Nothing works.
Not yet.
No, that's right. Oh, how I long for the trains running on time. For that matter, how I long for a train. We can't have the trains running on time. We don't have any trains.
And when we do get the trains, the electricity goes out and the bridge falls down.
Yeah, that's right.
See, Clarence, all you have to do is say, I got through, and away we go.
Literally, the only reason why I called was because to see if I could get through. And you said you're sorry you probably offended everybody. And I'm sitting there thinking, I wasn't offended by anything, Susan. Because I follow like 0 categories. I went to, because I've been, because of this whole Joe Rogan thing and Whoopi Goldberg thing. I was like, well, I said, I've been a race of one, a religion of one. I'm just me. I'm Clarence. I have no tribe to belong to. So I'm just standing here. Yeah, you guys keep fighting it out. I keep trying to tell you.
Right.
Been saying it for what now? 30 years now? Because I think, I've been calling you Lynn for at least 30 years, at least. I was like, okay, 30 years. I've been trying to say this and this and that. Nobody can let their tribe go. They can't let go.
They can't. Well.
Yeah, and I can understand why. I understand why, but that's the only way. Because I told somebody, look, if it wasn't race wasn't based on skin color, it'd be something like, well, those people under 6 feet ain't no good. It'd be based on height.
No, it's always something. And by the way, we do that.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Yeah. Height, weight, everybody belongs to these little tribes. Do you wear those long eyelashes? No. Oh my God, you got to. You're not fitting in if you don't wear those. I like it. What kind of tennis shoes you wear?
Wait a minute. You just hit on one of the things that's beginning to irritate the crap out of me. Women that can't open their eyes because they got so many damn eyelashes on that every time they blink, you're aware of it.
Yeah. I think that's part of what's going on with the weather. All those blinking eyelashes.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's causing, changing the weather.
Wait a minute. When they have those big eyelashes and they're walking outside in the snow, doesn't the snow collect in that?
Sure.
On the and
sure. And you know what it does?
And pull them.
It causes them to lash out.
If we're going to keep this up, it's only, morning, but I'm going to need a drink.
See, that you belong to the morning drinkers tribe. That's.
You know what I'm watching while you guys are doing this, and I have to get back into the show. I am watching. Milton sent me a video, 2 videos of ice sturgeon fishing on Lake Winnebago.
So it doesn't answer the question, how do they get the sturgeon out of the hole?
Well, I haven't gotten there yet. They've just dug the hole and they're going in, but they've gotten them out. Yeah, they have gotten them out. It's unbelievable. And they're interviewing guys and they're saying, there's nothing like it. Oh God, here's a guy whose hut is looks like a Green Bay Packer helmet. They're on the lake.
Well, it's getting those through the holes is called sturgery. I don't know if you realize that. But,
listen, there's a point at which you will be asked to leave.
No, he's funny.
It's the lowest form of humor.
Oh, I'm on Team Clarence. He's my tribe.
He doesn't want to be in your tribe.
I know. Too bad.
Puns being called the lowest form of humor are from people who don't get it. That's all that. Somebody who said that, just like, they create these races like, well, so guys, puns are the lowest form of humor. But it's actually the way the brain works. They're basically just metaphors. That's all they are. Or analogies or something like that. It's metaphorical.
No. Okay, tell me to stop watching this. I have to stop because I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, well,
I'm not paying attention. No, and
she wasn't even listening to you, Clarence.
Oh, well, that's cool.
No, I heard you, kinda.
The Sturgeon thing is interesting to me too.
Okay, that's pretty cool. We'll put this up on my Facebook page. But I think these guys are about to get one. Anyway, never mind. Who even knew? Poor Sturgeon. Can you imagine? You might be alive for 130 years and then some Yahoo and Packer regalia pulls you out of your... I mean, geez.
Can they put him back?
Well, my question is, you said that...
No, they don't put him back.
Some caviar was made from sturgeon eggs. It's like, okay, how did they get the eggs?
Yeah, how did they get them?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, if you're eating caviar, they've already killed the...
Yeah, they caught the fish, and if it's that difficult to catch the fish, maybe that's why it's so expensive. It's just beyond me.
Wait a minute. So male sturgeon don't have eggs.
Wait a minute, guys, you're confusing 2 different things. You're confusing the spear hunting season for sturgeon with normal sturgeon fishing, which might occur, and my guess is farming.
Oh, there is one. Oh, and they got, you should see the thing they got him with. It looked like a huge pitchfork. Oh, a glorious animal. God damn it. Okay, never mind.
Well, I guarantee that film isn't getting an Oscar. Okay.
No. All right. So
have a nice
enough
day.
already.
Okay, I just think it's great.
Goodbye.
A whole show of listening to Lynn watch a sturgeon meet his face.
No! Yeah, that's why I'm an award winner. That's right. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Did he leave?
Bye.
Oh, you didn't.
Bye.
He left. He's leaving now. Goodbye. All right. Okay, Susan.
Yes.
I got one more thing that's not going to be horrible. I should save some of this. Why do I do it all when you're here and then I leave myself with all this?
I don't know. I've never asked for such special treatment.
Okay, well then, you know what? I'm saving that for tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to go to horror again. Here's, a lot of what we don't pay attention to is really big. I mean, in the world, a lot of stuff is going on. You may have seen little things about tension in India, right? Between Hindus and Muslims.
Yeah, well, more than a little tension.
Know that and we know that their much beloved prime minister, this Modi, is stoking this kind of anti-Muslim feeling in India. And India, as you'll recall, when it achieved nationhood, got out from under the boot of Great Britain. there was an issue with its Muslim and Hindu populations, and a very sort of unhappy conclusion, if you ask me. It makes no sense at all, right? Sort of like it creates like the Palestinian problem is created in Israel. This creates a problem, which you have one little part that's supposed to be mostly Hindu, right? Or actually two parts, and they're separated. And then there's this middle part. Anyway, it's been nothing but trouble. However, the attacks on Muslims by the majority Hindu population has gotten really pretty extraordinary. I mean, something where you got to start paying attention. And what blows me away is, my understanding of certain religions. So if you ask somebody like Hinduism, what's that about? And I would say, oh, those are like those monks, and they,
well,
they
you think of
around. They walk around and they're poor, and they wear orange things, and they shave their heads, and they treat cows like they're sacred, and you cannot even touch a cow. And it's a very gentle, peaceful religion. That's my sense. That was my sense.
Yeah.
No,
what happened to you? No.
Because the Hindu, this article starts with the fact that the leader of a Hindu temple the other day flat out told the people in his temple, kill Muslims. He called for genocide. He called for genocide. He said we have to start to kill 2 million of them. Urged ethnic cleansing. He praised what happened in Myanmar with the Rohingya, and he says this is what we have to do. What did the Prime Minister Modi say? Because this got a lot of attention. Nothing. He's Trumpian. Nothing.
Yeah. No, he is.
And Muslims have been pulled out of trains, Muslim men, and beaten to death, accused of having tried to seduce a Hindu woman. What does that sound like? That sounds like white and black craziness in this country, right? This
right.
Is how
sounds like Emmett Till.
Marginalize. That's right. That's what you do. People have been beaten. Hindus have been beaten because they supposedly disrespected a cow. Do you remember when Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated? He was assassinated by a fellow Hindu who took issue with the fact that he was willing to pull the Muslim minority into this new country. It's sort of like Rabin in Israel again, being assassinated by a right-wing Jew for daring to have tried to make peace with the Palestinians. And Gandhi now is not celebrated as much in Modi's India, exactly because more and more people in India are thinking that his assassin was correct, was on the right side of history.
It's just amazing.
So, this is, again, I don't know, religion. The Muslims of India make up about 15% of the population, and they are increasingly at great risk from all those peace-loving Hindus. I guess my sense of Hindu came from Gandhi, and that it was peaceable.
Yeah, and then there's all the there's sects that come from Hinduism that make you feel that way, like Baha'i and all that sort of, stuff that are just very peaceful, gentle.
Yeah, but Baha'i is a break off from it. So
right. Well, but we might be discussing why.
Yeah, we might be discussing why. I don't know. My God. So I happen to be seeing online. You didn't watch any of the Olympics, did you?
Well, I actually watched Nathan Chen this morning at about 5 o'clock in the morning. Whoa. And
I want to see it. And I tried to stay up, but they kept saying he'll be on. And it turned out he'd be on at 1 in the morning.
Yeah. I taped everything, but but if you just wait until the morning, you can, it's in the newspaper and you can push a button and look at it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to do. No, I happened to be watching live last night this new sport called Big Air.
Yeah.
This is when people on skis go down a very, a ramp like a ski jumper. Only when they take off, they soar straight up into the air and start, doing
tricks,
spinning, unbelievable. They stay up there for a long time and then come down. And
extra points for holding on to the back of your ski, real extra points for a long time, few extra points for holding on to the front of the ski, but it's the back of the ski and the length of the time that you hold on that gets you the most points.
Yeah,
you learn so much.
I know. These things are called grabs. However, what I was really watching was this the woman who won, Eileen Gu. I think that's how it's pronounced. Well, surely you've seen her because she is made for us to watch.
Well, and sort of adore.
Well, she's gorgeous. She is, first of all, so beautiful. She's 18 years old. She's a model, you can bet. She is an extremely talented pianist.
She's from San Francisco.
She was born and raised in San Francisco. She is competing for China.
Boy, you said that just like Donald Trump.
I know I did China. I heard it too.
Okay, we'll just go on. But boy, what?
China.
She's been infected, folks. She's been infected.
Oh man. So I happened to read something on Twitter about her, extraordinary come from behind win yesterday. And it was extraordinary. And I happened to start reading the comments. Well, my God. They were, I'd say, 90% vicious.
Because she was competing for China?
Yeah.
Their heritage. Why shouldn't she?
Well, because she's an American. And actually, apparently, China does not allow you to hold two citizenships. So she does not apparently answer to what her citizenship is. While she would obviously be an American citizen based on being born here, it could well be that she has taken Chinese citizenship. And if you read more about her, it's like she is trying to straddle the globe between these two superpowers, one dying, one rising, and trying to, in some respects, have it all or be a
positive influence in both places.
Right. But I suspect she's being somewhat naive in that the freedom of expression that she has enjoyed in this country would not be tolerated in China. She is the hottest thing in China right now.
Well, because she won. I mean, you have to contrast that with the American figure skater who did the same thing. And
right,
except that she fell twice, and she's being savaged for making them look bad. And how dare they?
Right, and she's not as beautiful because this young woman, her talents are mind blowing. It'd be enough. And she's like a straight A student. She got almost 800s on her SATs. So she's smart as hell. She's beautiful as hell. She's charming as hell. She's one of the more athletically gifted humans on earth, obviously. She's tenacious. What is
and she's committed to being a positive influence. You can't say a whole lot, negative about her, whether she's
you can. Look at the comments.
Oh, how horrifying.
And that's where we are. And yeah. And I do want to say this, that I couldn't figure out where they were. If you watched any of it, it looked like they had built the apparatus for this at 3 Mile Island. There was there are like these big, what looked to me to be nuclear reactors.
Right behind?
Right. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4. There's one of them they painted the Olympic thing on. One of those big towers, aren't those like nuclear things?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I thought, what an odd place. And then I did read that they did put it in an industrial park. Well, not a pretty place. Indeed. So
yeah.
Anyway,
we might
I just
see smokestacks. Yeah.
Might they be? You mean you could just have smokestacks that look like that?
Yeah.
Those aren't always. All right. So what do you think of finding out that the National Archives actually had to go down to Mar-a-Lago and
that just cracks me up.
And retrieve something like 15 boxes full of papers that belong to us?
Right.
I mean, and these are maybe the only ones he didn't rip apart.
Well, he wanted to keep Kim Jong-un's love letters.
Love letters.
And that's what he called them.
That's what he called them. I don't know if you've noticed, speaking of Kim Jong-un, we haven't talked about him much.
He's skinny.
Trump left. He did lose weight, which makes people think that he's dying of something. However, he's been, and we're not paying attention again, he's been setting off missiles left, right, and center.
Oh, I know. Oh, no, I noticed that.
I know, but we're not. During Trump's tenure, that was why he had to go and, start writing they had to start writing love letters, because Kim Jong-un does this to gain attention. Always. He gets the world's attention. Hey, look at me over here. I got stuff, and I got stuff that could kill you. Pay attention to me, 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 me. And Trump did. And I don't think we are anymore. And he's shooting them off left, right, center. And I hope he doesn't get too freaked and
aim one at us.
You never know. You just don't know. All right. Ella is writing about eyelashes. I read where Elizabeth had 3 layers of eyelashes. Who's that? You mean the Queen?
Elizabeth Taylor, but they were her natural lashes. Yes. She had double lashes, I think.
What do you mean?
2 rows
she was born with a defect?
Or an advantage. It depends on how you look at it.
Well, that's what Ella says. She says this was considered, a defect. You're only supposed to have this 1 row. She had 2.
Yeah.
However, it sure worked for her.
That's what right.
Ella says. Yeah. Well, just honest to be. I don't understand the eyelash thing. That is getting out of hand, isn't it?
It is a little bit.
Because
older women too. But I was watching. I think it was one of the skiers or speed skaters. I can't remember. But she had lashes on, and I was going, honey, I am so fixated on the fact that one lash doesn't look like it's on quite right. I shouldn't be noticing that you're wearing eyelashes. If you are putting lashes on correctly, first of all, they should look natural.
Yeah, but there's nothing natural about these
rugs that women are walking around with on their eyes. It's just
all the women
crazy.
On TV now on the local news.
It's just
they got these
stupid-looking girls. Why don't you ever think before you just jump in with both feet? Honestly, God.
Well, that's the way it is. But I got to tell you, let's say you're a speed skater. And you're wearing, everything you wear is to make sure that...
Yeah, why would you put on eyelashes?
Eyelashes could cost you a tenth of a second. No,
well, even if it just got in your eye, for crying out loud, it's crazy.
Oh, jeez.
We are such old ladies. I mean,
I know.
Tisk,
totally.
But I'm just trying to impart wisdom. None of it matters. Save your money. Who cares?
Yeah, but because that's what old people know. It's funny. No young people listen to the wisdom of the old. They don't. We didn't, and they won't. I mean, it's...
I know. It makes me sad because I'm so much happier knowing all this shit.
I know. But I guess it's just the way of... unbelievable. Okay. So, did you hear about the guy? This sort of shocked me. The guy who is playing, I guess, a slot machine.
Oh, yeah, I did. And they went and found him.
Yeah, so there's a guy, he's playing a slot machine in Vegas. And the thing jams or something. It malfunctioned. Stopped working. Yeah, and he called somebody over, and they said, geez, we're going to have to, I don't know, this might take a while. And they gave him, they said, how much did you put in? And they gave him the $40, I guess, worth that he'd put in. And he stuck around for a while and then said, screw this, and he left. And he and his family went to dinner, and then they left the casino, and then they went home to Arizona. Meanwhile, back at the casino, they're fixing this machine, and damn, they see that the guy, if the machine hadn't choked, was about to win $230,000. He'd hit it. He'd hit the jackpot. Now, I have to say, I don't have a lot of goodwill toward...
No, you would assume that the casino would have gone, whew, dodged a bullet.
Whew, yeah. Instead, they took...
And in fact, let's discuss this. In fact, legally, they bought back the play.
By giving him... Really?
Yeah, legally. That was just a quiet little agreement, oh, sorry, this isn't working here. We'll replace what your bet was. Goodbye. Therefore, no bet. It's actually his money.
Well, you know why, though? It wasn't the casino that was the one that determined...
No, it was the guys that fixed the thing.
No, it was the gaming commission. It was the gaming commission. Okay. The Nevada Gaming Control Board stepped in. And they have an enforcement division. And they moved heaven and earth. They looked over hours and hours of surveillance video. They interviewed several witnesses. They were trying to find this guy and figure out who he was. They went through credit card receipts. They analyzed ride hailing data, Uber, and taxis that he might have taken. It's unbelievable.
And they found him.
Find the guy. And they found him. When they thought they'd found him, they contacted him. And they still said, we want to know that this is you. We need you to identify what you were wearing that day, that night, and a few other things that would identify him. And damn, he showed him what he was wearing and where he had dined, and everything matched all the surveillance footage that they had, and they knew they had the right guy. So they contacted him on Saturday and said, come back up here to Las Vegas. I think they paid the way. And they gave him $230,000.
Well, I would have gone back for that. Yeah. Oh, but speaking of that, you know, our brother seems to have this thing for playing the lottery when it gets really big. And
yeah, you can see how well that's done for him.
Well, yeah. No, but guess what? One of the weeks that we were buying tickets in Wisconsin, someone in Green Bay won.
That's good. It wasn't him, though.
No, it was one in California. It was one of the $500 and something million prize or $600 million prize, and half of it went to California, and half of it went to what looks to me like a married couple from the Oneida Nation.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
They took the cash option, and after all is said and done, they walked away with $161 million.
Well, that's good. And it's
a nice story. I was watching on the news. I said, Mom, look, it looks like a couple of Oneidas won, and Mother's going, yeah, it does.
What did I want to... here. Yeah. No, that isn't it. Damn it. There was this other story. You're speaking about gambling. And I'm remembering this other story about a guy who played the lottery using the numbers that were on his Chinese fortune cookie.
Oh, right. Is that the guy that did it just for years and hit?
I don't know it was for years. And I can't find it now because it was a funny story. Here it is. An Army veteran used numbers from his fortune cookie to play the lottery. Oh my God, this idiot spent an average of $500 a month on lottery tickets. I just don't understand why people do that. Although, and this guy now will say, well, that's why I did it, you idiots. I got $4 million. He finally won. He has sunk $70,000 on lotto tickets over 2 decades.
Well, I hope he kept track because he can take those as losses now that he's got the beginnings of the win.
Anyway, he threw away, he used the fortune cookie, and damn, he'd won $4 million. Along with his usual order of shrimp fried rice, Piero got a fortune cookie at Red Bull Asian Bistro on January 8th and used the numbers on the fortune to buy a $3 ticket. Wow. And there you go. I'm a player, he says. I'm of that one belief that you have exactly 0% chance of winning if you don't play. I cannot tell you how many times people have said that to me. Because I have said I have never bought a lottery ticket and I never will. I have never stepped foot in Las Vegas and I never will. I've stepped foot in a casino, a few. I went in, reminded of how abhorrent I find them, and pretty much walked out. I don't get it. But then everybody thinks they're going to be this guy.
Right.
Isn't that odd? Why don't I? There must be some, I don't know. And that was actually one of the subjects I wanted to talk about.
But that's that's the politics of our country. That all of these, the Trump's base that thinks that they support the abhorrent policies of the rich guy at the top because maybe they'll win the lottery and be able to be as abusive and disgusting as he is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, it's all the same.
No, you're probably onto something there. It's ridiculous. Well, Susan.
Yes. Did we finish?
We finished, and I want you to be able to, I told everybody that as of now, I got 2 more shows, and then I'm gone for a month.
I know. I'll miss everybody. How will I know what day of the week it is? I have a benchmark.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you anyway, but I'll talk to all of you in a month.
Yeah. And, in the interim, if you find good news stories, that'll still work, save them up. And maybe we'll have a backload of wonderful, happy kind of or funny news that we can revel in.
Sure. Over a course of a month, I could probably pull together a show.
Yeah. Oh, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you could. Okay.
And it'll be March.
Thanks, Shoes.
And almost spring. Okay, bye.
Yeah, it will be. Right. Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you. Okay, you guys, that's it for me, I think. And thanks for being here. And hope you'll join me again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.